Okay, perfect. So from this main screen,
Mhm.
logging in down here is how we get into all of our teacher tools. And we have our classrooms, and hopefully you've set up your sample classrooms.
Mhm.
You can also go under manage and do specifications.
Okay.
So when you go to specifications, then we're doing shelter 2.0. And this is where you can change basically the requirements for whatever activity you're doing. So if we're doing tall hikers, I click on tall hikers, and this is what the basically the like required or the default settings are. And so to change it, you just copy and you say you give it a name. So I did one tall hikers Hanson. I'll just do tall hikers new. Okay. And so this is telling us now that the outside temperature is going to be 15 degrees. The
Mhm.
inside temperature of our shelter needs to be at least 50, but our desired needs to be 65. I'm going to keep that the way it is. One
Mhm.
thing, or some things that I am going to change though, are the energy from the hikers, because for their first one, the energy consumption is a little bit low because I
Mhm.
want them to be able to experience success with it without being totally turned off from the entire thing. So I'm actually going to change hiker 1 energy to 1,000 and hiker 4 to 1,100. That just means that now their hikers can expel more energy or use more energy so that they can get more materials and things like that, which will essentially make it easier for them. So that's why I want to do that on the first one, just so that they can get used to it while having a little bit of leeway so that they still enjoy it and it makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so then I go ahead and save. And now to reassign that, I go to my classrooms and then I will do view. And then right now I have an activity already added. Were you guys able to add the activity? You were, right?
Yeah, I wanted to get because I don't put any like specification.
Okay. And so then if you go to edit, this is where it will ask you for your specification. So then you just go down and you choose the one that you wanted to do. So I'll choose tall hikers new and click save.
Got it.
Perfect. So now when they are in as their research or when they're in the research section, they can go to design challenge
Mhm.
and the new specifications will have updated.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's really nice because now it's like in real time. So anytime you want to change it, if one class is moving ahead of the other or something like that, and they need a little bit more of a challenge, because I know most of my honors kids are in one section, so I might mess around with this a little bit and make it a little bit harder for them if they get it right away.
Yeah.
So they can look at the design challenge requirements in the research, and also if you go to output, I think the design specs are here, but it doesn't say the hiker calorie level or energy consumption, whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's go to the engineering tab. When they finally start to do it, their screen is going to look like this, and it's going to be blue and they're going to freak out. And so at the top, here's where you have your buttons. Okay, so the building material sites and the maps and graphs, this is probably where I'm going to start them off at to explain what's going on and explain what we're actually looking at. And so with site details, this is showing that site number 6 is going to require the most energy because the yellow here is sandbags, and we know that that's going to be a lot heavier than over here where green is newspaper and then this sheeting. Okay, so this is kind of just showing them, okay, we could hike to site number 6, but do we have enough energy for our hikers, which we can see on the lower right-hand side? Do we have enough energy for our hikers to actually make it worth it? And then the materials show us exactly what is at each site. And you can move these. I find them really annoying when they're all just sitting right here, so I kind of drag them down to get out of the way a little bit, and we'll talk about R value later. Um, and then hiker energy is obviously going to be super important because this is showing how much energy each hiker has. We can't have him or her use more energy than is actually available. Okay, so then we have down here the shape and people. And this is what we see. And in order to like move this around, have this bottom rotate button clicked. And we can see our little people in here. They're laying down. In order to manipulate it at all, you click the wrench. So if we want to manipulate the shape into a hemisphere, cylinder, half cylinder, whatever you want to do. And then you can just edit what you want the specifications to be. And if you want to see your people, there are two different positions, obviously, lying down and sitting up. Obviously, I can't make the length of this 2 feet because it's not tall enough. They will literally have their heads out, so that doesn't make any sense. We need to make sure that it is at least able to fit them when they're standing up. So kids can use this part right here to make sure that they are, you know, taking a look and messing with this a little bit. Looks like their heads are out just a little bit, so I'd have to redo that. Lying down, again, it needs to fit them. It can't cut them off at all. Okay, so that's how we do that. Anytime you want to get out of this toolbar on the left-hand side, you just click done and done. And if I don't want to see it anymore, unclick the eye. And so we'll go back to the maps and graphs. And the first thing that we want, I'm going to click build material sites. This is where we're going to start. So it's going to ask me here, choose build site. And I have to have it clicked. If I don't have the eye clicked for build material sites, I can't see where anything is. So I have to make sure that I am viewing it. And we have 3 different build sites. So number 1, number 2, and number 3. So you choose that by choosing it over here. I'm going to choose build site 2 because it looks like it's a lot closer to this tree site and it's not surrounded by red. The red means an impassable area where it's actually, you can't get to it. You have to go around, things like that. And so 2 looks good to me because it's pretty flat and easy to get to multiple build sites. Then at tree site 1, I probably wouldn't choose that because that one is way far away from my building. So I'm going to go tree site 3, grab the branches, and I want to take a look at my hiker energy. Let's have hiker 1 get the branches. If I want to see how much energy hiker 1 is going to expel, I'm going to just press apply. And over here it'll tell me. So it still has about twice as much energy as it's used to be able to use it for something else. Great, so now we need to do material site. And if you want to go and see what this looks like, go ahead and press done. Unclick the eyes, oops. And then let's go to the shape. So here we have, since we went to the building or our tree site, we have built our base of our cylinder with tree branches and whatnot. Now, these 3 things right here are critical, are desired, are actual. These are the things that your kids are going to be paying the closest attention to make sure that they are within the specifications. Right now, it's saying that, and it's essentially the heat that is being contained in the area, in their shelter. Right now it's 0 because we don't have any material over it, so obviously the wind is just whipping through. Now, critical means it needs to be at least this in order for them to survive, but desired, this is what it would be for them to be comfortable. You also see that surface area here. This will be important when it comes for them to gather their materials. If there's 300 square feet of newspaper, probably don't need all of that because you're going to be wasting more energy when you only need 226 feet. And so make sure that you are keeping that in mind as well. And so this first part, the first day, I really would just kind of go through this with them and show them. I'm going to be developing some sort of like, okay, everybody needs to go to shape and make their shape a cylinder that is 3 feet by 6 feet, so that everyone can be on the same page, everyone can go through it. So look forward or look for that in the next week or so, next couple of days. And then again, apply, done, and I can go back to my building sites. I need to see where I'm at. Okay, so now I need materials. So I have materials here at 9, 10, 8, 6, and 7. Well, I want to make sure that I'm getting what I need, so let's take a look. Let's see, we said 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have newspaper, sandbags, cardboard, all of these different things. If they just hover over with their mouse, they can see it. They're probably going to want to start with one that is closest to them and see what they can do. So if we go to material site 9, this is saying that there is carpet pad and this sheeting. So we can choose, we see our hiker energy. I'm probably not going to make hiker 1 do it again because he's already, or she has already used 600 calories. So maybe I'll have hiker 2. Actually, let's do hiker 4 for the carpet pad and hiker 2 for the sheeting. So apply. Great. Let's see how much that got us. So we can see their calorie intake or how much energy they have used. Apply, done. Unclick the eyes because I need to go back to my shape. And now here we have the 2 different materials that we used. If you go to inventory, it'll tell you how much you actually got. So of this polyethylene sheeting, we have 220 square feet and we have 120 square feet of the carpet pad. If we go back to our shape, and again, press done to get out of it, we have 226 feet that is needed for our surface area. Since it's not quite, the polyethylene sheeting that we have is 220 feet, which is a little bit less. That's why our actual right now is still at 0 because we're not completely covered, so there's still cold air coming through. So what I might do to change that is I might just play with the dimensions here. Maybe I do 5.5 feet. Let's apply to see if my people will fit in it. Let's take a look. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone is popping out. If they sit up, can they fit? Looks pretty close. I might give them a little bit more headroom here. Let's do 3.5. Okay, so we have 215 square feet, and then the inventory 220. So clearly the polyethylene is not taking in as much heat as we need it to, so we're going to have to get some more materials to cover it even more. So this is when they will just play around, figuring out what build sites they want to go to, figuring out what hiker needs to get what material, so on and so forth. And so this will usually take a day once they're familiar with the entire thing to go forward with that. Okay, I'm going to pause this. Do you guys have any questions?